Well, hey everybody. It's the 10th day of July 2025. I'm Jan Erickson, and this is As Above, So Below. Well, we have the full buck moon tonight. That's going to be nice, won't it? The maiden was really beautiful last night. I did not get a picture of it, though, because I was out too early, and I didn't go back out around 11 when I should have. But I'll get a picture of the moon tonight. And let's go ahead and get started, though. Let's start with Ansus, the fourth rune of the Elder Futhark. Ansus is known as Odin's rune. It's about divine clarity, if you will, divine message, spirit communication, speaking with a higher level of eloquence, so not allowing ego to control your reactions and your responses to people, essentially. It's known as Odin's rune, so it can actually represent a lower G god. Although I don't look at Odin and his people as that. I think they were from somewhere else, and they were here for a while. Let's go ahead and look at the Geomancy rune. I'll put the elemental runes in the order of fire, air, water, and earth. We have Karser. Now, Karser, its complement is Conjunctio, and I think, didn't we have Conjunctio on Monday? No, it was last Thursday we had Conjunctio. We had Via on Monday. In Geomancy, if you've not heard of this before, I'll do it quickly because other people who've been watching this for a long time, I occasionally explain what Geomancy is. It can mean a lot of different things. It can mean the ley lines. It can mean it's earth element energy driven, is whatever it is. Pendulums are also considered a geomancy tool. And geomancy runes can be discovered in a variety of ways. You could take a handful of peas, dried peas, and throw them down and count them, but that takes too long. And so I just decided what I would do when I was, beginning to work with these is you have to put them in the order of fire, air, water, and earth anyway. So you'd have to throw the peas down or the lentils down 4 times in order to figure out, what each of those is. This way, I just do it with where in the heck is that? I just do it with a rune where I have 1 dot on one side and 2 dots on the other. Oh, here's Karser. Because essentially, as you'll see, you'll have fire, which has 1 dot, air and water, which have 2 dots, and earth has 1. Well, it could be a variety of different ways, right? And so there's actually, even though there's actually only 8 concepts, there's 16 runes, 2 sides to each one of those concepts. So 16 runes in the Geomancy set. And again, it's about earth energies. And so I thought it would be perfect when I was doing this video, is the reading here for the videos, the idea of as above, so below, with the Elder Futhark being the above side and the Geomancy rune being earth energy and maybe talking about ego as the below side. And so here we have Karser. Now, Karser's an interesting rune. Its complement again is Conjunctio, and so if you're on a continuum, you've got Conjunctio on one end and Karser on the other, and whereas Conjunctio is about union and joining and coming together collaboratively with others, in unity with others, Karser is about being a prison within yourself. So it's self-imprisonment, essentially, and it's very ego-driven. It's considered one of the evil runes of the Geomancy set, but I don't tend to look at it that way. I just think it's more ego-driven, so you may have outmoded ideas and perceptions about things that seem to keep you imprisoned in the self and unable to express yourself or extend yourself to others. It can be about isolation. It can be about fate, but the heavy hand of fate. So very karmic in its energy, I think, in terms of having to keep reliving things until you understand its true meaning, where you can then let it go and move on. Karser just keeps you kind of imprisoned. I mean, it kind of looks like a little ampule or a little bird cage. And so you're the caged bird in a sense here. And the answer to that, I think, and the way that you move beyond it, again, is invoking higher awareness or higher clarity, and especially in your interactions with other people. It gets you out of the prison of self and gets you to understand the bigger picture, if you will, and so that it can help you release that sense of self-isolation or self-imprisonment. So just keep that in mind here, and let's go ahead and shuffle a little bit and take 3 cards. Get a little more details about what this might be talking about. But if you think about it, you know, holding on to beliefs that really aren't valid, holding on to beliefs or perceptions that hold you back from expressing yourself or moving forward somehow, you know, that's just something that I think a lot of people experience. I think probably everybody does to a certain extent. It's just there comes a point where you realize, you know, it isn't anybody else. I can't blame anybody else for how I see things. I've made this choice to see it a certain way, and you know, it's basically self-limiting, you know, self-limiting ideas and perceptions and beliefs. Let's go ahead and cut the deck. Take the lower half. Well, as we've kind of been doing lately, we'll get 1 card from the major arcana, 1 from the court, and 1 from the minor arcana itself, the small cards, if you will. We have the same type of pattern here today. And we have the 5 of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups. Did we have the Queen of Cups last Thursday? We did. And then we have the Fool. So I think that, again, you know, if you look at Carcer, you know, in a way, the 5 of Pentacles can indicate a change in circumstances that isn't any good. You can see that the snow's falling. You can see that there may be a church on this side of the people that are walking, but it doesn't seem like they see it. So the idea of there being help for them, they limit themselves by refusing to look at it or consider that as an option. You see, they're not, well, he's got 1 boot on, but this person doesn't look like they have any shoes on, and that may be a woman. And here you have a bandaged foot. He's on crutches. It looks like this person that may be a woman is just got a blanket over her and trying to huddle against the wind and the snow that they're going through here. But again, you know, you're looking at, with the 5 is about change. It's also about protection, innovation, variety, freedom versus restriction. And again, the freedom versus restriction sort of aligns a little bit with Carcer in that, you know, you restrict yourself by the beliefs you have. If they're ignoring the help that's on this side of of them as they're walking down the road or the street or the sidewalk or whatever this is they're on, they're really limiting. You know, it's kind of a Carcer experience. They're trapped in their own of something of their own making here, perhaps, and they can't see that help is is right next door to them. They can't see it, but clearly something has changed, and it's an uncomfortable change that they're experiencing. It's just that if they don't have enough compassion for themselves, with the Queen of Cups here, if they don't show themselves compassion and let go of the, oh, I can't reach out for help, or I can't ask for assistance, or I can't see my way out of this hole that I'm in, and I can't ask for a hand up, you know, to get out of it. For maybe somebody, a friend or an agency of some kind, has services that they can provide the people. to help them get resettled or something because of this change in their material security. But if they keep themselves in such a narrow, oh, nobody's going to help me, or I can't get out of this, the I can't mode of things, then they're never going to be able to express themselves or see or listen to the advice that someone else may have, which may represent Ansus, or at least have a little more higher awareness to what they're doing. This could be very ego-minded awareness, where they're going to stay stuck in the place that they're in, and they're never going to be able to get out of it, when that may not be true. And looking at Ansus, you're looking at divinity and clarity and higher self, whereas ego is very limiting. Higher self is not. Everything, all truth is there, and you all possess all that truth at any given time. You just have to acknowledge it as being there, as you being a soul and not cut off somehow from the creator within, right? And so with the Queen of Cups, you're looking at somebody who's reflective, so you need to become more reflective. Or maybe she's somebody you can go to for help and advice for the circumstances you find yourself in, to be able to get out of that comfort zone you've put yourself in, because a lot of people do. They put themselves there, and they're not going to get out of it for whatever fear-based response that they're having, right? Well, with the Queen of Cups, when I see her, you just need to have a little more compassion for yourself, be more reflective and observant and patient, and try to approach things in a loving and healing way, instead of just staying stuck in that place that you just cannot seem to let yourself out of. So much of the time we feel like the constraints that we have no options, and there's nothing out there that we can access to then make a different choice and to release yourself from the bonds of self, essentially, or the bonds of ego, right? And I think what's nice about the Queen of Cups is she reminds us that, you can use your imagination, which is a water element idea. You can be compassionate for the situation that you're in, and for yourself, and to not limit yourself, to allow love and support and help to come into your life, whatever this is. Whether it's truly a material security thing or not. Maybe find it. Maybe you've lost your job or something, or maybe you're going to lose your home because of it. You've lost all of that, and with people that have been where the floods were there in Texas, and then I saw some. Gosh, was it North Carolina? There was some flooding going on. I saw a house going down the river, being swept away. A lot of that is happening right now. This is the time when it does. Now through, fall, you'll see all kinds of weather stuff, hurricanes and tornadoes and flooding, all kinds of things. This is when it begins. And if you keep yourself in a place emotionally where you're just stuck and you can't reach out for what's there to try to help, find some kind of redress, or whatever it is that you need to find, some way to either friends or family will offer you, a bedroom you can stay in for a little while till you can get back on your feet. Or maybe they have an RV you can stay in on their property where you can do that. If it's something like that, you can't be afraid to ask. You can't be afraid to reach out. And with Carcer, the implication is that you have a hard time doing that, reaching out. You stay stuck in that little bubble that you're living in, and whatever you need, and I realize, the flooding and stuff is a pretty extreme example, but there could just be something in your life where your material security might be threatened in some way. And and there could be resources out there for you, if you let go of the fear of looking for it, and considering the possibility of other things outside your comfort zone, that in that bubble you've created for yourself. You have to let go of that. You have to open the door and go and see what's there. It may take a bit, it may not, whatever happens, it's a blessing. And so, but it's one that's there for you. You don't have to be alone in that bubble. And accessing higher awareness makes you understand that your focus is so narrow that you don't see the possibilities out there of something better. And so that's where I think Ansus comes in, to raise your vibration to that level where you can see other possibilities out there, instead of having your mind be so close to it. And from then, all things are possible. You take the leap of faith like the fool does, like the soul does when it incarnates into physical reality. You take with you what you have, all of your ideas and your experience with you into this new reality that you can create for yourself. And you take the leap of faith that it's there, because it is. So I think, when you look at the idea that from going from possibility to no possibility, you have that continuum there with both Ansus and Karser. And I think that if I were to put the runes above the cards that they apply to, then I would say that Karser would go above the Five of Pentacles. The Queen would be the transition point where you let yourself off the hook and you show some compassion for yourself, that you don't have to live in this limiting space that you're in, mentally and emotionally, and psychically, where everything is so limited, and there just doesn't seem to be any way out. Well, Ansus is suggesting that there is, through higher awareness. You let go of that and create that new experience for yourself, in full clarity, in clarity of purpose, if you will, and trust the process. He's looking upward toward heaven, toward spirit. He's not even looking where he's going to leap. He just takes that leap of faith that all is going to be well in the end when he gets there, right? When the fool gets there. Let's do one thing here I have not done, and that's the numerology for the reading. So we had a 4 for Ansus. We have a 5 for the Five of Pentacles, nothing again for the Court, and 0, which is unity consciousness, if you will, for the Fool. And so we have, I think I did something wrong there. I did 4. So 4 and 5 is 9, isn't it? So again, at 9 is about endings and completion. It's about spirituality, which would align with Ansus, and generosity. And so if we're looking at the 9 as endings and completion, maybe we're going to put an end to keeping ourselves in a place of the ego's choosing, of keeping us, safe inside that bubble where we don't question anything, we don't reach out for anything, we don't do anything like that. We just stay stuck there, emotionally and intellectually stuck there in that bird cage that we put ourselves in, that we rely on someone else to open the door to. Well, Ansus is suggesting no. You want to be the one to open the door yourself and to go through it. The door is an illusion, in other words. It's an illusion that the ego has created, that you cannot move outside this place you're in, whether it's the self-limiting beliefs and perceptions or the fear-based reality you keep yourself stuck in. It's fear-based. That's ego. That's not higher self. It's not the soul. It's not understanding in full clarity what your circumstances are, and to even be able to see a way out of it, right? So I think what the reading is suggesting, whatever this is for you today, even if it's just, I'm afraid to do thus and so, that's a self-limiting belief structure that is ego-based. It is not higher self-based. And you are here to learn. You are here to grow. You're not here to keep yourself in this little tiny mindset that says, I can't do this or that. And so even if it's just something as simple as that, I think what today's reading is suggesting, that you take that leap of faith and trust the process and trust higher self to guide you along that path of moving outside your comfort zone, the Karser experience, and from that darkness into the light. Make sense? So I don't think we need another card. So I think that's it. On this full moon in Capricorn, there can be a little self-limiting there, with Capricorn sometimes, although they're pretty industrious. I have a daughter-in-law who's a Capricorn, and she's very intelligent, and she's educated, very educated. She's a PhD, and she's really an amazing person, and has her. Capricorns have a tendency to stay motivated and moving forward and achieving goals and things like that. So she's like that, and so I think that this full moon, for her, just brings maybe a little more clarity and a little more light into her life about issues she might be having, whatever they might be. And the same is true for all of us today. Just being able to, it's kind of it's sort of a Saturnian type of a, measured approach to things and all of that. But at the same time, if you keep the self-limiting ideas and beliefs as your focus, then you won't do that. And so think about that tonight if you get to get outside and see the moon. Think about how the moon can light a new path for you to move out of your comfort zone and into something better for yourself. So anyhow, that's it. Thanks for watching. And look for the forecast for next week and the correspondences for work and magic and for ritual work on the blog over at Stepping Aside. The web address is there at imsteppingaside.com. The new ones come out Sunday morning in the midnight hour. And if you haven't yet clicked subscribe here, I'd love you to do that. And come back again next Monday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.